That's the description that kept popping to mind as I wheeled through my first miles in the revised for 2018 Nissan 370Z coupe. There are no cockpit switches to adjust the suspension firmness or engine response. There's Bluetooth hands-free phone capability but zero cutting-edge cockpit tech. The standard audio system is operated via a simple row of buttons and knobs. Same for the climate control system, 3 rotary dials. In base form, the most popular trim for the Z and what I drove, there isn't even a touchscreen. Instead, where digital cars have a big center display full of color and flash, the base Z has a flip-up cubby. I tried talking to the Z, change the radio station, navigate me to the nearest ATM, but it never listened. You'd have to look far and wide to find an automobile as straightforward and true to its original form as the 370Z. You might also say unchanged. Or even old. Yes, for 2018 the base model is available in Dramatic Heritage Edition trim. Yes, the exterior is fresh and knit-out, including dark tinted headlights, black matte chrome door handles, and a blacked out rear lower fascia. Yes, there's a new, optional 19-inch alloy wheel. But otherwise you could roll the time machine all the way back to 2009 and, in any Nissan dealership you'd care to visit, you'd find pretty much the exact same car. That is not, however, an entirely bad thing. While rivals have piled on the upgrades in the electronic candy, so too have their prices soared. The Z? The base sticker of $30,875 gets you a 332-horse V6, a 6-speed manual, 18-inch black finish alloy wheels, and a bod that still turns heads after all these years. At my testers, carpeted mats and the Heritage Edition package, which nets you black outside mirrors, the black accent decals, and yellow interior accents, you're still looking at just under $32K. True to its uncomplicated character, the Z is a solid all-rounder that stands out not for bleeding-edge performance but for delivering an unfiltered, even nostalgic driving experience at an affordable price. The VQ37VHR DOHC 3.7-liter V6 is as tried and true as Skippy peanut butter. It's been around for years and can also be found in such rides as the Infiniti Q50 and Q70. It's far from the smoothest V6 around, particularly at the upper rev ranges. Gets pretty gritty near its 7,500 RPM redline, but it pulls hard enough to scoot the Z from 0 to 60 mph in about 5.0 seconds or perhaps even less. Nissan has refined the drivetrain a tad for 2018, altering the accelerator pedal and throttle valve opening angles to make using the gas pedal a more relaxed experience. I honestly can't say that I noticed the updates, but the Z was plenty rewarding to hustle, though the twisty stuff aided by its close ratio 6-speed and a new Exedi high-performance clutch with LPC, an acronym for light pedal effort clutch. Higher trim levels offer a downshift rev matching system, but, frankly, I'd rather heel and toe downshift myself. Doing so in the base Z is a pleasure. The suspension is on the stiff side, but the Z doesn't crash over rough stuff. On the highway, it rides pleasantly enough. On wrinkling roads, the chassis shrugs off most body roll while digging hard into corners. Understeer is minimal, and with traction control off you can use the throttle to walk the rear end helpfully. You'll need to be fairly high on the tach to do so, though, as the 270 pounds FT torque peak is up above 5,000 RPMs. Steering response from the vehicle's speed-sensitive variable power assist system is languid compared with more modern machines, but there's a good, tactile sense of the road that flows to your fingertips. The cockpit, as noted, is as all business as they come. The Heritage yellow accents add some sizzle, and the fabric seats are commendably form-fitting, but otherwise this cabin is as uncomplicated as they come. A big, analog tach and speedo. A manual parking brake. A beefy shift knob and a nicely padded 3-spoke wheel. Done. Visibility to the rear quarters is pretty bad, and a blind spot detection system isn't available. That said, the Z is plenty roomy for two with good headroom, and there's decent storage under the rear hatch. Remarkably, the Z remains a head-turner even after all these years. It's probably due in large measure to the Heritage Edition's bravura yellow and black, but I heard, "Hey, dude. Nice car." Lots and lots of times. Indeed, that's exactly what the latest 370Z is, a nice car, a competent, well-rounded, solid-performing GT wrapped in an attractive package. Rivals? Well, a Subaru BRZ Limited with the optional performance package isn't as powerful or quick as the Z, and the Nissan is better looking, but the BRZ Limited costs a bunch less, comes with leather seats, and blows away the Z in chassis firepower. It feels more modern and feisty. The 370Z is a gentleman's sports coupe. Sure, that's just another way of saying for older, analog dudes. But there's nothing wrong with that. A white blur in the rearview mirror zigzagged up to us in the midst of heavy traffic. It was a Volkswagen wagon, filled with 5 teenage boys baiting me to race. There was nothing but taillights up ahead. I waved, they returned a less friendly gesture and spurted stupidly ahead. Off the next ramp with an empty country road stretching out straight as a rail, I gave in to temptation. The Nissan GTR is a time machine. Every time I floored it, my stomach lifted in opposition to the gravity of adulthood, and a small but rapturous part of me felt like those feral idiots in the VW, unbound, unbothered, rocketing down a road where consequence only existed in the next second. The GTR, which first arrived in the US in 2008, came of age in 2017 with its most significant update. The 565 horsepower sports coupe has a more pronounced lip and side sills to help with airflow, and the blocky rear is chunkier, more menacing. Godzilla is growing into its body. What does Godzilla in the wild elicit such reverence? It's part newness, part Nissan. It starts at $109,990, and Nissan sells only about 1,000 annually, roughly a tenth of the Porsche 911 and all its iterations. Just about anyone can identify 911, even if they mispronounce Porsche. GTR is rare, young and special. Admirers of the GTR are, in their own minds I suspect, purer. Being in the know of a rare sports car, and a Nissan no less, keeps posers and dilettantes from tainting that exclusive GTR fan base. Godzilla fans know that it is quick, sick quick, hitting 60 mph in 2.9 seconds, and it is fast, blazing fast, attaining a top speed of 191 mph, according to Car and Driver. That quickness from the 3.8-liter twin-turbo V6 starts taking your breath away at the 2000 RPMs range, but it keeps intensifying until hitting peak 467 pound-feet of torque between 3,300 and 5,800 RPMs. Staying on the accelerator can cause fear, every sense howling like the glorious engine noise. It is awesome in every sense of the word. The long, thin paddle shifters are mounted to the steering column, but the 6-speed dual-clutch automatic is quicker and smarter. It knows what you want, so it is best just to steer. While the handcrafted engine remains relatively the same since the beginning, with a signed plate by the one engineer who worked on that specific engine, the engineers keep tweaking the GTR, so the 565 horsepower is 20 horsepower more than last year's model. The most significant appeal of the GTR is its versatility. Not like a hatchback versatile, more like driver-style versatile. It is immensely accessible. The long wheelbase, low center and near-perfect weight distribution from a front-mounted engine are complemented with an all-wheel drive system that inspires confidence in less experienced drivers and tempts more experienced drivers to lose their, wagon. GTR is called Godzilla for how massively and surprisingly its power can erupt, yet for how docile and comfortably it can hold drivers on longer trips. It also comes roaring out of turns with better balance than any car we've driven. The most significant updates for 2017 are in Godzilla's living room. We drove back-to-back trips about 150 miles each to our neighbor state to the north, and had no fatigue or cramping as in other cars of this kind. Nissan says it beefed up the noise cancellation and dampened the harshness. We didn't notice any underroad noise or backbreaking suspension stiffness. It might seem inconsequential in this context, but we averaged 23 mpg on our road trips. There's a spaciousness in its roofline and cabin, not enough to fit anyone behind the driver in the 2+2 layout, but good enough to get 2 kids around town. And that trunk. At 8.8 cubic feet, it fit my daughter's hockey bag better than some hatchbacks. The guy at the coffee drive-thru whistled and said, "Nice saddleback interior." Wow. Technically, the Rakuda 10 seats with hand-stitched interior were semi-aniline leather, meaning the dye maintained the texture of the surface, as part of the $4,000 premium interior package instead of plain Jane Recaro racing seats. The center dash has slimmed down from 27 controls to just 11, centered by an 8-inch touchscreen that is easy to use. Nissan's insistence on buttons, dials and way too many of everything has turned us off in other models, and we hope the controller dial on the carbon fiber center console, which supplements the touchscreen so you can zoom in and out of a map by just turning the dial, for instance, will make its way in all Nissan products. There's a balance inside and out, on the track or around town, uncommon in a supercar such as this. This rare breed of car, which makes novice drivers feel confident and confident drivers push their limits, is worth the stranger selfie, the admiring nods, even perhaps an appreciative taunt from a wagon full of fools. Godzilla is that good.